Okay, welcome back to lesson 210. You previously left off with coming up with other names for creating multiples or other names to create 93 using the multiples of 4. Let's move on to another one. Here we have 68 divided by 5 because we see the dividend is 68 and the divisor is 5. So we want to list out the multiples of 5. So you see we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70. We stopped at 70 because our dividend is 68, and so actually 70 is too large. We want to get as close as we can to 68 using the multiples of 5. And if we look here, we have 60 plus 5 plus something. It cut off like it does once in a while. So if we have 65, we want to think, what can we add to get to 68? Well, that would be 3. We have 40 plus 20 plus 5 plus 3. We have 35 plus 30, 35 plus 30 plus, this would be a 3. We have 55 plus 10, and what would we add? We would add a 3, okay? If you catch on to this, you're going to see that every time there's always a 3 left over when we use those multiples of 5. So our answer is going to be, we see that we can get all the way up to 65. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Our answer to 68 divided by 5 is going to be 13 with a remainder of what? Yep, you guessed it, 3. And that's how we use those multiples to get as close as we can and then see what we have left over every time. So, moving on. When a number cannot be evenly divided by another number, the quotient will include a leftover, or like we said, a remainder. So here's an example of 60 divided by 5 equals 12. 5 divided by 5 is 1, so we get that 13. That 12 plus 1 is 13. And how many do we have left over? 3. Oh, keeps getting in my way. There we go. So again, like we just said there, we can have 12 5s, 1 5 gives us 13 5s, and we have 3 left over. We can't use those. They don't fit into a group evenly. Remember, division is expressed as a quotient and a non-zero remainder, no remainder. We use an arrow rather than equal sign. Okay, here is an example. 127 divided by 7 is 18, remainder 1. 18 remainder 1 is not a proper number sentence. So 127 divided by 7 equals 18 remainder 1. It's not proper. The arrow reads it as is, yields, or results in. Okay, so we want to get into the habit of using an arrow sign when we have a remainder. So again, like we talked about making those number cards at home. So you could draw 2 cards to create a dividend, draw 1 more card to create a divisor, use the multiples of divisors to make equivalent names for the dividend. So practicing the multiples. So we see here we drew the cards 7, 4, and 3. So she made her dividend 74 and her divisor 3. So she listed out all the multiples of 3, and then she completed a name box. So she listed 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, and so on. She would keep going until she got to a number as close as she could for 74. And as you can see here, she knew that 30 plus 30, because that's a multiple of 3, that's 60, and then she added 14. She also did 60 plus 14, and then she also did 60 plus 12 plus 2. So you'll notice that this one and this one both had a plus 14, which we know 3 can go into. So she expanded it even more and did 60 plus 12, and then she saw that she had that 2. And we know that if we're doing multiples of 3, 2 is too small. So most likely our remainder is going to be a 2. Look over here, she decided to use that one because she got that last number down to the smallest possible. And she knew that 60 divided by 3 was 20. And she knew 12 divided by 3 was 4. So 20 plus 4. So 74 divided by 3 was 24. And then we had that 2 left over, which gives us 24, remainder 2. And make note that she did not use an equal sign. She used an arrow. So on page 60 in your journal, this is your activity for today. You're going to either use a deck of cards, use cards that you've created on your own using numbers 1 through 9. You can make multiple, or you can just do one of each digit. Create a 2-digit dividend and a 1-digit divisor. So here's an example. I drew the cards 6, 2, and 4. So I'm going to make the dividend 62, and I'm going to make my divisor 4. So my first step here is to list the multiples of my divisor. So I would list out 4, 8, 12, and so on, all the way till I get as close as I can to 62. Then right here, I'm going to make new names, new addition problems for 62, creating them with these multiples of 4. So I might say 40, because I know 40 is a multiple. 40 plus 12 is 52. And then I might say plus 8 plus 2. Okay? It's okay that I have multiple numbers here. So I'm going to see that I know that 4 goes into 40 10 times, 4 goes into 12 3, 4 goes into 8 2, and then we have that 2 left over. So I have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. My answer is going to result in 15 remainder 2. So I see that we have 62 divided by 4 results in or yields 15 with a remainder of 2. I want to remind you that you can check this by doing 4 times 15, and that should get us 60, and then with a remainder of 2. So I'm going to check my work here. 15 times 4. 4 times 5 is 20. Put my 0, carry my 2. 4 times 1 is 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. And that does, in fact, give me 60. And how many more do I need to go to get 62? 2. So 62 divided by 4 is 15, remainder 2. Do the rest of this page and practice. Remember to check your work using those multiplication problems. And just a reminder that today we were working on a mental division strategy, using the relationship between multiplication and division to mentally divide multi-digit numbers, perform operations with multi-digit whole numbers and with decimals to the hundredths, and also understand that place value system. That is the end of lesson 10, 210, and now it is time to check out your independent work, and that'll provide you more practice.